I'm Chulainn, a simple swordsman. I've only ever fought for money, but it has left me feeling empty of late.
Today we're talking about Chulainn, a simple gladiator swordsman with a very interesting name. From my 5 seconds of googling, in Japanese his name is Horin in genealogy. Horin, or Chulainn, does seem to be one of the ways to pronounce this name, although Chulainn also seems to be fine as well. Basically, call him what you want. Chulainn is a sword infantry looking out to make a name for himself. He's got 45 HP, 46 attack, 46 speed, 40 defense, and 21 res. Chulainn has excellent offensive stats for a free reward unit, and he's going with a higher defense focus, even having that defense super boon. There are many other competitive sword masters with similar offensive stats, but Chulainn is definitely a fine option if you don't care about magical matchups. Sadly, Chulainn does not have a unique weapon. He comes with the Campaign Blade Plus. This 14-man weapon states, if above 25% HP, grant plus 5 attack and defense, and inflict attack and defense debuffs equal to 25% of the unit's HP from start of combat. This has a max of minus 10 attack and defense if you manage to have 40 HP. To stay healthy, this weapon will then grant 10 HP after battle. Campaign Blade is the same as Summerdano's wooden tackle. That was from about 2 summers ago, so it's a bit old. Generally speaking, it's a fairly simple stat-focused weapon. As long as you start battle with 40 HP, you get the full details, and since it's an attack debuff, it does boost your physical and magical bulk. You can take the defense stat refined for more physical bulk, or you can balance it out with extra res. Not the worst inheritable, but also not very fancy. Ain't too bad for Chulainn if you wanted to focus on attack and defense stats. For the rest of his kit, Chulainn has Luna and the not so great Wind Boost 3. I would not really recommend using any regular tier 3 boost skills. Now Chulainn's last passive is Speed and Defense Bulwark 3, minus 4 speed and defense, 7 HP healing after combat, and of course the Super Obstruct effect blocking melee and ranged foes from moving past the user. Bulwark is an annoying effect, but it doesn't really help your actual combat too much. Chulainn likes the stats, and the 7 HP sustain will stack with Campaign Blade, which is good. However, you most likely need other effects to really stick around in battle. This is the first time Bulwark has appeared on a non-5-star unit. If you want to know why they started with speed and defense, it's because there's no tier 4, and there's also no spiked wall variant. If those ever show up though, Chulainn could be a valuable fodder source. If you want to merge up Chulainn, his neutral nature will grant plus 1 HP attack and speed. That's fine to keep, or you can go grab that defense super boon for plus 4 defense, also not a bad option. When it comes to the free-to-play options, our last Turret Grail sword infantry was Fallen Lloyd from last year. He was the only Gen 8 Grail option. For Gen 9, it was Lumera, and Gen 6 we had Host and Yanfei. Essentially, it's entirely possible Chulainn is our sole Gen 9 Grail Swordmaster. Now, sadly, all these other units have unique weapons. They may not all be outstanding, but I would say Lloyd's is held up decently. Full penalty doubler with debuffs to use it, 40% DR, good amount of stats, and guard. When it comes to stats, everyone here is fairly fast, though Chulainn has the best physical bulk. Lloyd and the others have better res if you want an all-around unit. For attack and speed, Lloyd and Lumera are both pretty close to Chulainn. Pretty much just depends on if you care about resistance or arena scoring value. On the demon side of things, we just got Ogier. He trades some stats around, but Ogier is a totally solid high-speed option who has a defense over res focus. In the previous gen, we also had Kagetsu, who is a very fast dude. He's the Swordmaster who has better physical bulk. If you're looking for a more balanced defensive spread, Inigo and Lapis are your options. We go back a bit further, Kamui has okay offensive stats and it can hit 40 defense. If you don't care about speed, Skyhawk is still the undefeated defense master. For her rare Grail units, Nemesis also has pretty high defensive stats as well, though not as much speed. Basically, Chulainn has a lot of free-to-play competition, but his attack, speed, and defense are all really good if you don't mind worse magical matchups. He'll do fine though, his lack of a unique weapon doesn't help him stand out from the crowd, plus we are never really short on any crazy new 5-star swordmasters either. For general playstyle, we can work with Campaign Blade and Bulwark. These two skills will grant 17 HP after combat, and this can help Chulainn stay above 40 HP to get the minus 10 attack and defense debuffs via Campaign Blade. For the stat refined, you can go with more defense or perhaps more speed. The extra HP is going to be nice for wind boost, but sadly I just don't think those tier 3 skills are worth running. As for Bulwark, its main effect is obstructing movement, but it doesn't do a ton for Chulainn's own combat. The healing and debuffs are good, but Chulainn can also run something like Repel from Fallen Lloyd to get access to 40% dodge damage reduction. With his speed, you can also run No Fall Up to not get abused by slow free fall up attackers. Sadly, the Campaign Blade doesn't really do anything for speed itself. For other slots, Chulainn can go for more attack, speed, or defense. He's fairly fast to start, so you could run attack and defense clash or finish. We actually have both the Sacred Seals too. You can get speed and defense finish from Dew or Caspar. For the C slot, we can add more stats with a tier 3 Oath for self-buffing. Bulwark can protect the ally behind Chulainn for that. You can stack more attack smoke debuffs with Campaign Blade, or you can try to use Chulainn's OK base HP to inflict Panic Ploy or try to activate Infantry Pulse. If you wanted to get specials faster, Chulainn can use Brett's Sacred Seals, Heavy, or Flashing Blade. Tempo's another option and would be good with no follow-up builds. For the specials themselves, nothing wrong with Moonbow or Luna, though if you do build for more defense, then Bonfire and Ignis can work too. For defense stacking setups, you may want Mystic Boost to neutralize adaptive damage. The healing also works out for Campaign Blade usage. If you do want to upgrade to Bulwark 4, sadly you need to inherit an entire new stat variant, at least until we get Speed and Defense Bulwark 4. The tier 4 Bulwarks will add 40% damage reduction, which is fine, but not the most reliable protection nowadays. If you want unpierceable percent DR, Chulainn could use Gust or Boulder. You need to win a speed or defense check for those specials, so whichever you do use, you want to build more of that stat. Campaign Blade's plus 5 defense and minus 10 defense is great boost for Boulder usage. The lack of slang can also work with Lagoo's Friend, which adds flat DR into the mix. If you go that route, you probably want Times Pulse to charge Boulder in time for the enemy's first attack. While Gust can also work, Chulainn can also run Arcane Devour with Godlike Reflexes, which gets pre-charged by Lagoo's Friend. This doesn't require Times Pulse, you can run something else like Breath of Life, or maybe something like an Oath or Pledge Self buff. For the A slot, Finish skills work well with Campaign Blade or Lagoo's Friend setup for healing and true damage. If you don't use Arcane Devour, the new Perfect Attack and Speed is a no follow-up option. Chulainn can also use Physical No Follow for 50% DR piercing, plus you can run Oddspeed Wave 4 or Infantry No Follow 4. Another A skill is Distant Bonus Doubler for just encounter. That can go in the Sacred Seal slot, or you can use the Echo version. When it comes to other B skills, Spiked Wall is a more offensive Bulwark, or you can run Potent for the extra hit. Dodge Force skills are fine, though DR piercing is just much more common. Speaking of which, Tempo 4 is alright, but it's now an Echo skill. Very solid pairing for all kinds of builds. You can pair this with a tier 4 boost to get guard with that. The HP stacking can allow Chulainn to then run Image Pulse 4. If you want a more supportive setup, the Doubler Sword or the Farmers to a Plus Sword have plus 6 attack and defense field buffs and with bonus doubler built in. Chulainn can run that with Oddspeed Wave 4 for triple field buffing, or you can run that with Infantry Pulse for the cooldown support. Now, if Tempo wasn't enough, you can run Times Pulse 4, Pulse of Blades, or Flash Sparrow. If you really wanted to get in there, and this Tempest can work with skills like Excel or Clash, maybe you wanted to run Gale Force. If you're not in a huge rush for a build, you might be worth waiting for a third Arcane Sword. It's been about a year and a half since Arcane Devour released, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a third sword soon, but Gang doesn't count. Now, assuming it's an Arcane with instant cooldown, you could maybe pair that with Momentum or any of the Pulse cooldown options. You could get a real quick no quarter, or maybe even something like a AoE special. All in all though, lots of options are on the table here. So, should you promote Chulainn to 5 stars? As a sword infantry, Chulainn's attack and speed are up to par, especially as a free unit. He also has one of the higher starting defense stats for sword units, and if you wanted a high speed and defense brawler, then he's the best option currently. Unfortunately, no unique weapons means Chulainn has a lot of free to play competition. There are many units with similar attack and speed stats, and a unit like Fallen Lloyd can offer something different with his weapon. We have many Swordmaster demos from recent times, but it is worth noting that Chulainn might be our only heroic route Gen 9 option. It's still a bit early to say that, but if we don't get another sword infantry this year, then you gotta depend on RNG if you wanted to merge up the modern demos for arena scoring. Chulainn could fill in that spot, and you just gotta wait a couple months for the guaranteed plus 10. I would not say he's a clear-cut counter. If you wanted someone to fight all those Marnies though, you're gonna have to bring Fatal Smoke to at least have a chance, and I'll be honest, maybe we gotta start pulling out the old Armor Slayers. Arbitrary scoring modes aside, melee infantry always get access to fun skills. We just got Perfect Attack and Speed and Tempo Echo, both useful for a fast unit like Chulainn here. If you like the guy, or you just wanted a fun merge project, then he'll be a perfectly fine choice. He do be a cool looking dude. That's all I got to say about Chulainn. Go beat his Grand Hero battle map, and good luck building him up. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.